First of all, can everybody hear me that's outside of the room? Can I see some thumbs up? Do I need to speak louder? Okay, all right. So welcome to Markham. Welcome to Markham District Energy. For many of you know, about 2-3 hours ago, we had to seriously pivot because our tents collapsed from the rain and there was thunder. So here we are, but it's not a bad thing we've ended up in the cogeneration plant, even though we all can't fit. For those that don't know me, I'm Bruce Ander. I'm President and CEO of Markham District Energy, but more importantly, for the next 30 minutes, I'm MC. So welcome dignitaries, project partners, suppliers, funders, CIB, CIBC, I think you're all here. York Region, Dave and Sharon, are you there? There, I see there. Thank you for coming, all of York Region, and all guests, and of course, media. Thank you for coming to help us celebrate, and I guess I would say this is our crowd. I think everybody I know is here. So, so I have this photograph here. You can't probably see it unless you're very close to the front row. From 25 years ago. This hangs in my office. It was a groundbreaking. The groundbreaking was about 30 feet in that direction towards the plant to break ground on our first energy plant. We called it the Central Energy Plant, to serve our first customer, IBM Canada, which is just ultimately built north of us through the trees there. We didn't exist at all 25 years ago. There was one person from that day that's in this picture that is here today. Where's Richard Damacour from FEB Energy? Richard. Richard, you don't look a day different than this picture, but I'm going to put this picture up if you want to look at it later. So here we are today to celebrate the beginning of our 25th anniversary year as a company and as a district energy system. There's another piece of infrastructure that was here 25 years ago, the York Region wastewater main, which I think most of you know is just to my left in the driveway. It's been here the entire time. Energy has always been flowing in that wastewater main. But some stars needed to align for us to take advantage of that energy. And all those stars have aligned today. But the first task was for us to build a home for this energy. So over the last 25 years, we have built and expanded the Markham District Energy System in Markham Centre, our growing downtown core here. Over the last 25 years, we've connected 15 million square feet to hundreds of buildings. We have 3 energy plants. This is one of them. But today, we are renaming this plant Markham's Low Carbon Energy Centre. So originally it was the Central Energy Plant. A number of years ago, we renamed it Warden Energy Centre, smartly named after Markham Road, or Warden Road. But today we're calling it the Low Carbon Energy Centre because this is where we are clustering, Minister, we talked about this, we're clustering many low carbon technologies right here on this property. So what's interesting about this, and this is the district energy story that maybe Rob will mention in a few minutes, when we are done commissioning our wastewater energy transfer project, the WET project, we will be reducing our carbon emissions in this Markham Centre system, all the energy used to heat the buildings, by about 75%. Let me repeat that. We're not reducing emissions by a fraction or 10%, 75% from business as usual. Now, so this would all be, this is only possible because we built this thermal grid. And this is really the value proposition for district energy. And Markham, we're proud of what we've done here in the last 25 years. So I'd like to introduce Mayor Frank Scarpitti. Not quite yet. Frank is Markham's longest serving mayor. He sits on regional council and he's also a member of our board of directors. So he really has a 360 view of today's announcement. But first I want to tell you a quick story. In 2013, believe it or not, it's over 10 years ago, Markham District Energy was honored at the annual conference of the International District Energy Association in Miami we received their coveted System of the Year award, and I think a little bit more on the IDA later. Mayor Scarpitti joined us in Miami for the award ceremony, but he also attended some technical sessions, which scared the daylights out of me. And one of the technical sessions he attended was wastewater energy recovery. Now, the mayor found me shortly after that session and said, you know, we need to do this. And I think I said something like, that day will come. Well, Mr. Mayor, that day has come. Please welcome Mayor Scarpitti.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of our distinguished guests, in particular, Deputy Prime Minister Freeland. Thank you so much for making time to be with us here today. And thanks to all of you, because honestly, when I look out into this crowd, I see not only the partnerships with the many people who have made this particular project, and in particular, Markham District Energy, a success. So I'll just say, when you think green, think Markham. The building right across from us has a 250 kilowatt rooftop solar facility. The City of Markham was the first city in Ontario to sign a feed-in tariff agreement. And since that time, we expanded our rooftop solar facilities to include all of our major facilities in the City of Markham. And now the City of Markham has the largest one of the largest rooftop solar portfolios in the whole province, and we produce 2.1 megawatts of power from that solar energy. Just north of us, Mattamy Homes has 310 homes connected to Enwave's geothermal system, the largest subdivision of its kind in all of Canada. Enbridge here in Markham has 3,600 customers connected to a blended hydrogen natural gas system that substantially reduces greenhouse gases. Markham has one of the highest household waste diversion rates in all of Canada. And one of the major contributing factors is our award-winning textile program that has collected 33 million pounds, 15 million kilograms of textiles that would have otherwise ended up in landfill. So when you think about sustainability, when you think green, think Markham. And we are on the path to becoming one of North America's greenest cities. And so it should come as no surprise that Markham District Energy is breaking ground on this amazing project here in the City of Markham, the largest of its kind in the world. So I want to say a particular congratulations to Bruce Ander, the President, Peter Ronson, the whole team here at Markham District Energy for bringing this project to where we are today. So thank you to you. I also want to say a big thank you to the Chair of the Board, Keith Irish, along with the board members, former Chair Jack Heath, along with the former board members. As you can appreciate, something of this magnitude takes a while to get to final approval, and I really do appreciate your involvement and your support. Markham District Energy is solely owned by the City of Markham, so I also want to say thanks to Markham Council and to Markham staff. As you heard, this year marks the 25th anniversary of Markham District Energy, and as mayor, I've seen firsthand the growth and the expansion of Markham District Energy. MDE is a source of pride, and I often share the success of this story with mayors and governments from around the world. We are leading the charge in creating a more sustainable, livable, and greener community. Look no further than Markham Centre across the street. This was the first district energy system in North America to supply a combination of heating and cooling to our residential and commercial customers. The City of Markham had ambitious plans 25 years ago, and here we are 25 years later, reaching a significant milestone with this project. But Markham Centre will continue to grow. The system will more than double in size. And between where we're standing here today, Deputy Prime Minister, and over to Kennedy Road, eventually there'll be 80 to 100,000 people living in this community. So that is incredible growth. And today's announcement is just another step in our desire to reach both the City of Markham and MDE's goal of net zero by 2050. Now, there's no way we could be standing here today if it wasn't for the incredible partnerships that we have. And I have the pleasure today of also representing York Region, and I want to personally thank Chair Wayne Emerson and members of Regional Council for their support of the wastewater energy project. York Region is a signatory to an agreement with MDE that allows us to connect to York Region's main sewer line that carries 2,500 liters per second, and it's adjacent to our plant. MDE will transfer energy from the wastewater instead of consuming natural gas or electricity. I'd also like to highlight the additional partnerships that have made today possible, in particular the Government of Canada. Honestly, you've put in place programs that enable green innovation, and this project is the recipient of funding from the Low Carbon Energy Fund, and MDE has signed the first contract for differences in all of Canada. Another great achievement, and thank you, Minister. Thank you to the federal government for making important investments that allow municipalities and energy suppliers to access funding to chart a greener and smarter future. We're also very honored to be joined today by Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. Having the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister here today shows great support for this innovative project and signals the federal government's deep commitment to fighting climate change and supporting municipalities in their sustainability objectives and initiatives. Markham and York Region are members of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and I'd like to thank the FCM for their investment in MDE through the Green Municipal Fund. I know that Representative will be speaking later. Please pass on our great thanks to the FCM for their support. Also, Enbridge continues to innovate here in the city of Markham, and I'm extremely grateful once again that they have contributed to another great Markham success story. Thank you to Enbridge for collaborating on another green initiative that will lead us to our transition to net zero emissions. And I also want to say thanks to the Canada Infrastructure Bank for its low interest loan. The CIB was set up by this federal government so that many projects could be advanced and the green economy could be supported. And I would like to put today's announcement in perspective. This project will reduce greenhouse gas emissions up to 30,000 tons annually. That equates to greenhouse gas absorption by a forest that would make up 15% of the size of all of Markham. This is how we're going to reach our goals in 2050, through innovative green projects and important partnerships. And we're doing our part to contribute to a better, greener, and more sustainable future. This work complements both Markham's and York Region's climate change action plans. And I, too, look forward to the opening of the Low Carbon Energy Centre. And Bruce has told you how far back this idea goes, but I can tell you it's been a long journey, and I am so pleased that we're finally here today breaking ground on this important project. Thanks to all of you for your involvement, for your input, for your contribution. Thank you for attending today. And now I'd like to introduce Canada's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Chrystia Freeland. Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for your extraordinary commitment and resolve to ensuring that all Canadians will live in a greener, more sustainable future. Please help me welcome the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, Chrystia Freeland. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Bruce, for that kind introduction. And I have to start by saying, when we think green, what do we think?
Markham.
Markham!
All right.
Yeah, truly. It's really inspiring for me to be here today I really want to thank Bruce and Frank for telling us the story of how we got here. And I want to thank everyone who is here. You know, I want to thank the City of Markham, the city councilors. I want to thank the people who are here from York Region. I want to thank the board members who have been working on this for literally 25 years. And, you know, the community that we see here, Bruce said that everyone he knows is here today. And you really see here a community of people who have been working really hard, really creatively to support this exciting, growing Canadian municipality, and to be sure that this municipality has the energy it needs, the heating it needs, the cooling it needs as it grows and as we have to hit net zero together. And I just have to say that kind of, you know, years and years of work, project after project, all connected. The mayor being in Miami, going to a technical briefing, scaring the daylights out of Frank. Frank scared the daylights out of Bruce with a really big idea. And I just want to say, you know, this is how we build Canada. With people who really love their communities and care about them, people who are so open to the world and the best ideas that are happening in the world, and people who come back home and then they say, you know what, we're going to be the leaders. We're going to be the leaders in doing this in the whole world. And that's what we're seeing here today in Markham, and I could not be more inspired and prouder of everyone who is here. So let's just have a hand for Markham. So I'm really glad to be here with Mayor Frank Scarpitti, with Rory Nisan, who's the City Councillor for Burlington and the city's Deputy Mayor for the Environment. I'm really glad to be here with the amazing people of Markham District Energy, the people of Markham District Energy today, and I see we have like whole generations of people who have been building this. Wonderful to see that commitment. And of course, I am really happy to be here with three amazing colleagues from my Liberal team, with Francesco Sarbara, with Helena Jacek, and with Leah Taylor-Roy. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the work you do in your communities. And I want everyone here who is represented by these three outstanding MPs to know they have me on speed dial. I guess it doesn't really exist anymore, but on their phones. And I have them on speed dial. And each one of them is a relentless, a fearless, and an incredibly deeply rooted advocate for their community and for this region. This project would not be happening without them. So thank you very much. Okay, I want to start by sharing some good news about our Canadian economy. Inflation fell to 2.7% in June. That is very good news for everybody. It is good news for the people here who are builders. What that means is for 6 months in a row, inflation in Canada has now been within the Bank of Canada's target range, and wages have now outpaced inflation for 17 months in a row. Yeah. That is really good news for all Canadians, for all working people, for all people who want to build things. With our fiscally responsible economic plan, our government is doing everything we can to support the Bank of Canada and to make it possible for the Bank of Canada to continue lowering interest rates. The Bank of Canada lowered interest rates in June, making Canada the first G7 country to lower rates. That's a national accomplishment. Markham District Energy, as we have seen, is doing some incredibly important innovative work to reduce Markham's carbon footprint while providing affordable, clean energy services to the people who live and work in this city and to the people who will live and work here, because we've heard from the mayor how much Markham is planning to grow. Le travail que vous faites ici devient de plus en plus important. Les grandes économies du monde avancent à un rythme sans précédent pour lutter contre les changements climatiques. Elles réorganisent leur économie afin de créer les industries carboneutres d'aujourd'hui et de demain. C'est pourquoi le plan économique de notre gouvernement est axé sur le développement d'une économie propre et sur la création d'une nouvelle génération de possibilités pour les travailleuses et les travailleurs, ainsi que pour les entreprises du Canada. And that is why I am so pleased today to welcome an important investment in Markham District Energy by the Canada Growth Fund. Our $15 billion Canada Growth Fund is a key part of our federal government's economic plan. The Canada Growth Fund is led by some of Canada's smartest investors, and it is investing in Canadian companies, supporting their development, and helping Canada to attract our share of the trillions of dollars of private capital waiting to be invested in the clean economy of today and tomorrow. Most importantly, those investments by the Canada Growth Fund are helping to create great jobs for Canadians today while keeping Canada, and when we think Markham, we think green, so Markham, on track to net zero by 2050. This investment in Markham is particularly exciting because it is a groundbreaking, world-leading investment. This is the Growth Fund's first investment in Ontario. Through a carbon contract for difference, the Canada Growth Fund is helping Markham generate more clean energy by using a cutting-edge technology that extracts heat from wastewater. This carbon contract for difference, provided by the Canada Growth Fund, is key to de-risking Markham's investment in low-carbon energy solutions. So we are providing, well, the Canada Growth Fund is providing a sophisticated financial tool to make it possible for Bruce and Frank and their teams to realize their dreams for their community. This is going to help the people of Markham and the businesses of Markham to save on their energy bills, even as it helps Markham to reach net zero. That's what I call a win-win. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about carbon contracts for difference because they're important for this project, they're important for Markham, and they're important for Canada going forward. Carbon contracts for difference reduce risk for companies investing in clean technologies by guaranteeing the price of carbon or carbon credits for a fixed period of time, regardless of the market price. That means that Bruce and Frank, they don't need to be market traders. They don't need to be like hedge fund guys. We give them a guarantee, and they know that they can go ahead on that basis. The tool provides certainty for places like Markham District Energy, and it allows them to make the long-term investment decisions they need to make to grow this amazing city and to create good jobs. The deal with the Canada Growth Fund is set at an attractive and competitive initial strike price of $100 per ton of carbon dioxide. So far, the Growth Fund has announced carbon contracts for difference with two other companies, Entropy Inc., a geothermal energy company based in Calgary, and Varme Energy, a company that is generating power from municipal waste in Edmonton. And this is exactly why we launched the Canada Growth Fund, to encourage companies like Markham District Energy to de-risk great ideas for them so that they can invest in big projects and create great jobs for some of the innovative entrepreneurial people you see here in this room today. The construction of this project alone, and Bruce told me you're going to start building in how many weeks? 2 weeks, okay. So in 2 weeks, he's going to start building, and this project alone is expected to support 200 well-paying jobs for people across Ontario. The Canada Growth Fund was launched barely over a year ago, and it has already announced 6 investments that total nearly $2 billion and 3 world-leading carbon contracts for difference. We are putting Canada where we are meant to be, at the forefront of the global race to attract investment and seize the opportunities of the clean economy. I'm also really happy to announce today that our government is investing an additional $24.9 million in Markham District Energy to help expand Markham's clean energy production so more residents and businesses can save on their energy bills. Thanks to today's investment, the City of Markham will be able to significantly reduce its reliance on natural gas by installing a new 18.5 megawatt wastewater heat recovery system. That's what we've been hearing a lot about. The project will reduce emissions by over 700,000 tons of carbon dioxide over the lifetime of the project. Really phenomenal. Adopting this technology is a very significant achievement, and everyone here, and I think most people here have been involved in this project, you should all be so proud of the work you have done to get here and to do this. I'm very proud of you. L'investissement d'aujourd'hui s'ajoute au financement à faible coût de 135 millions de dollars déjà accordés à Markham District Energy par l'entremise de la Banque de l'infrastructure du Canada. À cela s'ajoute un financement privé de 135 millions de dollars. Cet investissement que nous avons annoncé en novembre 2022 aide Markham Energy à agrandir sa zone de service et soutenir le développement de sources d'énergie à faible émission de carbone à Markham. Another cornerstone of our government's economic plan is our $93 billion suite of investment tax credits. Our investment tax credits are already working to give businesses the certainty and the support they need to make historic investments in Canada that create good jobs while reducing emissions at the same time. We're also supporting Canadian workers by linking many of our investment tax credits to labor requirements. That is giving businesses an incentive to pay a prevailing union wage and to create apprenticeship opportunities. And we have evidence that our investment tax credits are already working, are already driving investments in Canada. Last week, we welcomed an up to $2 billion investment in Strathcona Resources to build carbon capture and sequestration infrastructure on oil sands facilities in Saskatchewan and Alberta, supported by a $1 billion investment from the Canada Growth Fund. And thanks to our investment tax credits, Shell Canada is also going ahead with its Polaris carbon capture project in Alberta, which will significantly lower investments at their Scotford location. In April, Honda announced their historic $15 billion investment in Ontario to create jobs across the full electric vehicle supply chain, a project made possible by our investment tax credits. And by the way, a project that requires work like the work that is being done here in Markham District Energy, because we're going to need more clean energy to drive industry and for Canadian consumers. Last November, we welcomed an $11.5 billion investment by Dow outside Edmonton, also supported by our investment tax credits. These major investments by major international companies were underpinned by our investment tax credits, and every single one of these projects will support thousands of good jobs across Canada. Le mois dernier, 4 de nos 6 crédits d'impôt à l'investissement ont été inscrits dans la loi, ce qui donne plus de certitude aux entreprises qui veulent créer des emplois bien payés et qui va attirer encore plus d'investissements au Canada. Our investment tax credits and the Canada Growth Fund are pillars of our government's economic plan. They are creating more jobs for Canadians, even as we help innovative entrepreneurial people like the team here achieve their plans for net zero. They are attracting more investment to Canada. They're creating more good jobs, and they are placing Canada at the forefront of the global race to seize the economic opportunities of today and tomorrow. In fact, in 2023, Canada attracted the highest per capita foreign direct investment in the G7 and the third most FDI in the whole world as a quantity. Yeah. Today, we have the lowest deficit to GDP ratio in the G7. We have the lowest net debt to GDP ratio in the G7, an advantage that is key to our AAA credit rating. Il s'agit là de preuves économiques convaincantes. Elles montrent que l'économie canadienne est forte et résiliente et que notre plan économique est financièrement responsable. It's clear that our government believes in everyone here at Markham District Energy and in the amazing work you are doing. I am so excited about what the future holds for this incredible team and for the remarkably talented people who have helped make Markham District Energy a true success story in Canada and an international leader. I am really, really proud that our government is helping Markham District Energy to grow and play an important role in this community and in this great province. Notre gouvernement agit maintenant et il agit résolument parce que nous savons que les Canadiennes et les Canadiens comptent sur nous. So thank you very, very much for your work. Thanks for your dedication. Thanks for your commitment. Thanks for your creativity. We see the past here, but I think today we also see the future. And I am so, so grateful to everyone here, and I look forward to continuing to collaborate with you. And I think I'm now supposed to pass it back over to Bruce.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to give you a
Well, thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for being here, for your remarks, and for all the government is doing to support the district energy sector in Canada. Let me just say this. As a Canadian, I'm really proud of this government, not just for the support of Markham District Energy for our sector, but what you are doing with the Canada Infrastructure Bank, the Low Carbon Economy Fund, now the Canada Growth Fund, with this innovative and forethought strategy of protecting carbon projects that are investing to reduce carbon, and now the investment tax credits. And we will be submitting our application for an investment tax credit for this project. So thank you, merci, and that's the extent of my bilingual remarks, I'm afraid. But, and you may guess where I might be voting in the next election, but I am proud of this government and everything you are doing for Markham District Energy. Thank you. So, another uniquely Canadian story is the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, founded in 1901, which I didn't know until a few days ago, currently representing 2,100 municipalities from coast to coast. A key program for the FCM is the Growth Fund, Green Municipal Fund, which is funded and supported by the federal government, another element of federal support. So we have worked with the GMF for over 20 years, helped us build the plant that we're in. I'm sorry we had to pivot to this indoor space, but that was the way it was at 10 o'clock this morning. Helped us expand our thermal grid to connect new systems, and now more recently helped us finance the biomass plant that's in behind this building. So we're pleased to welcome Rory Nisan, Ward 3 Councillor from the City of Burlington, Deputy Mayor for the Environment, and the FCM's Ontario caucus chair. Rory?
All right, good afternoon. Yes, I'm Rory Nisan, Deputy Mayor in the City of Burlington and the Ontario Caucus Chair of FCM. FCM is the national voice of municipal governments. We represent over 2,100 communities of all sizes across the country. And the Green Municipal Fund was established in 2000 with funding from the Government of Canada. And since then, it has helped municipalities switch to sustainable solutions that improve the lives of residents. That's what's key. Today, I'm proud to announce the Green Municipal Fund's role in this project, which is an investment of $8.2 million for the installation and commissioning of a new 500 kilowatt biomass pellet boiler and the expansion of Markham District Energy's low carbon thermal network. Congratulations. So this expansion will reduce emissions, of course, and cut energy use. Notably, the boiler will serve as Markham District Energy's first renewable and low-carbon heat source for the Markham Centre District Energy Network. Our support for this whole thing, this whole project, actually goes all the way back to 2004, when the Green Municipal Fund provided over $5 million for the initial expansion, and then followed by an additional $3.5 million 2 years later, bolstering Markham's capital plan. These investments, powered by federal dollars, gave the needed momentum for private investors to grow the district energy system. Now, any initiative of this kind of scale is going to carry risk. Today, we see the positive outcomes when the Green Municipal Fund provides that seed funding to prove the benefits and feasibility of a project to make it happen, and you can't argue with these results. So cooperation with funding partners in the investment and financial sectors is essential to achieving national and community climate change goals, because municipal needs exceed the public resources available. It's hard for most Canadian municipalities to access capital markets to finance infrastructure, so that's where the Green Municipal Fund really comes in. We scale innovation and enable new solutions. And we're there from beginning to end, funding these great ideas and making them a reality. The Green Municipal Fund is really laser focused on that innovative sustainability, exactly what we see here. And those objectives are aligned with the targets outlined by the Government of Canada. So there's really no time to waste. If we're going to achieve Canada's climate change goals, Canada has to implement these solutions quickly and widely in our communities. I'd like to express FCM's deep gratitude to the Government of Canada for their unwavering support for the Green Municipal Fund. Deputy Prime Minister, we couldn't do it without you, and it's encouraging to see how much progress we can make when we work together. Thank you. Okay, all right. You guys are boosters, this is great. At FCM, that's the key, right? All orders of government have to work together. All orders of government have to work together to achieve a sustainable and affordable future, not only for ourselves, but for future generations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, and thank you, FCM. For those standing, we're in the round clubhouse turn, so we're almost there. Another long-term partner of Markham District Energy is Enbridge. Aside from being our primary fuel supplier for the past 25 years, and I believe 100% reliability might be our story in 25 years, Enbridge has been supporting our journey towards greater efficiency and certainly now our path towards low carbon. So please welcome Cara-Lynne Wade, Director of Energy Conservation and Energy Transition Planning at Enbridge.
All right. Thank you very much, Bruce, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to be here today. As Bruce said, I'm Cara-Lynne Wade, Director of Energy Transition Planning and Energy Conservation at Enbridge Gas. Enbridge Gas's values are deeply rooted in our communities and our customers, and we are very deeply committed to helping them meet their emissions reductions goals. We partner with and invest in numerous clean tech solutions that help mitigate our operational emissions and that assist our customers, our municipalities, and the nations reach their environmental goals. And we're no stranger to celebrating firsts with the Markham community. Enbridge Gas operates North America's first utility-scale power-to-gas facility here in Markham, which converts surplus electrical energy from renewable sources into lower carbon hydrogen. Yep. Yep. And as the mayor noted, this hydrogen is currently blended into the natural gas system for 3,600 Markham customers. We are proud to be here today to mark another first of its kind, celebrating with Markham District Energy the opening of the Low Carbon Energy Center, which uses state-of-the-art technology and processes the largest wastewater energy transfer project in the world. We have a long, yes. Yes. As the mayor said, we have a very long-standing relationship with Markham District Energy, which has been dedicated to improving its environmental performance and reducing carbon emissions for many years. We are happy to be involved in this significant initiative through our energy efficiency programs. Our efficiency programs provide funding for heat recovery heat pumps and wastewater heat recovery. Initiatives like these have significant and positive impacts on the environment and the economy. Reducing natural gas, water, and electricity consumption naturally results in reduced energy costs at a time when Ontarians want clean, reliable, and affordable energy. At Enbridge Gas, we understand our vital role in providing safe, reliable, and affordable energy solutions to customers across Ontario and beyond. Innovation and collaboration comes naturally to us. We're collaborating to advance new, cleaner technologies for transportation, heating buildings, and the power industry. We're introducing new renewable fuels and finding practical ways to use less energy. We believe energy can be reliable, sustainable, and affordable with a diversified approach, which includes a balance of electrification, low and zero carbon gases, such as renewable natural gas and hydrogen, as well as carbon capture used by our existing infrastructure. Our existing infrastructure can be harnessed to help meet this net zero goals and the energy demands of our future. As we celebrate today, Enbridge Gas remains committed to working towards a future powered by innovation, sustainability, and shared prosperity with all levels of government and industry. Congratulations to the Markham District Energy and all partners involved in making the world's largest wastewater energy transfer project here a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Cara-Lynne. Now, finally, we have an international guest. Markham District Energy is part of a worldwide fraternity. The International District Energy Association, IDEA, is headquartered just outside of Boston, and the association represents over 3,000 members in 28 countries. I believe there's more than 300 members here in Canada. It was founded in 1909, not quite as old as the FCM, but close. It might be one of the oldest industry associations in North America, if not the world. So please welcome our friend and colleague, Rob Thornton, who's the president and CEO of the IDEA.
Thank you. I realize I'm the last act. I'll be quick. Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Mayor Scarpitti, Minister Chang, distinguished guests, colleagues, friends, it's my pleasure to be here with all of you today in Markham. On behalf, as Bruce mentioned, of our 3,000 members in 28 countries, I provide applause for you arriving at this moment, and thank you for this invitation. And I'm joining you from Boston, where we think green is the Celtics, but that's another story. So you've probably heard the saying, when is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. Today, Markham is planting another tree, putting even more roots in the ground for a more sustainable future for its citizens. 24 years ago, Markham District Energy was a mere sapling. In 2000, when they began operations, that followed almost immediately on the heels, you may recall, the 1998 Great Ice Storm. Power was knocked out most of eastern Ontario, part of Quebec, parts of New York, Maine, Montreal and Ottawa were dark. And coincidentally, at that time, IBM was searching for a new home for their research center. Resiliency and reliability was paramount in their decision-making. The team here at Markham proposed, why don't we build a district energy grid to support your needs going forward? And now, here we are 20-plus years later, Markham has delivered 99.999 reliability over that time, and IBM not only is here, and glad they're here, but they've brought a lot of their tech friends along, making Markham clearly one of the leaders. So, mighty oaks out of little acorns grow. That storm was a harbinger, though, of a new normal. Named storms have become so ubiquitous, so pervasive. Sandy comes to mind, 2012, devastated 8 states. Storm Uri leveled Texas, 200-plus people killed. And last year alone in the U.S., over $165 billion in insurance losses due to extreme weather events. Clearly, time has come to strengthen our infrastructure and reduce our climate impacts. This investment will do both. I'm here to tell you as well that district energy is emerging as a key solution, not only here but around the world. Germany recently passed legislation that requires every city with a population over 20,000 to invest in a heat map to solve for district energy so that they can have the energy security and the resilience that their economy requires. The city of Paris will soon open the Summer Olympics 2024 in just a few weeks. The Athletes' Village is on a district energy, a district cooling network, and the mayor of Paris and the citizens, the private-public partners there, intend to double the size of the district energy system serving Paris by 2030, a huge investment underway. Our colleagues in Dubai, I was on a virtual call with our friends from the UN yesterday in Dubai. Yesterday was a normal day in Dubai, 115 degrees F and 81% humidity. This would be a spring day for them. So finally, countries, citizens, communities, towns all across Latin America are looking at you for your leadership, for your stewardship, for your support, for the work that you do here in Markham to help them understand how to bridge this difference. In Chile, where people still burn wood for heating their homes and making their dinner, air quality is a paramount concern. In Colombia and Ecuador, they've learned that they can't rely on the hydropower that has really been their source of electricity for the last 50, 100 years. And it's not lost on me that just recently, for the first time in a long time, the power supply went from south to north here in Canada, from the U.S. Back to Canada because of, I think, some of the concerns of that drought are bringing to these things we've taken for granted. So I want to close with this notion. I was visited recently a Hopi Indian reservation in Arizona. And the Hopi have the belief we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. 20 years from now, I predict that a child born here in Markham will be maybe living in one of these homes, and he'll look back on this day, and he or she will want to say thank you for your leadership, for your commitment, for making a difference. And I just want to say personally, I'm so proud of our affiliation with Markham District Energy, and I want to thank all of you for your continued success and wish you well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Rob, for putting us in the international context. People are doing what we are doing here all around the world, but we're proud of what we're doing here. So, thank you all the dignitaries. I understand we have somebody from your communications group, Ani, who is going to spend a few minutes up here taking any questions.
I'm afraid we're the ones taking the questions.
She'll coordinate it, I guess.
Well, she's coordinating the questions, yes, from any media that wants to address what they heard today. So, you have a mic back there?
Okay, we'll now take questions from the media. It'll be one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and media outlet before asking your question using the microphone. C'est une question suivie. Veuillez indiquer votre nom et votre média avant de poser votre question. First question, please.
Hi, my question's for the Deputy Prime Minister. My name is Amanda Lena Laterio. I'm with Global News. The Prime Minister says he's been trying to recruit for years Mark Carney to run for the Liberals. Have you also spoken with Mr. Carney to encourage him to run for the party, and why or why not?
I actually have known Mark for a very long time. Both of us are from Northern Alberta. And I think Mark is a great Canadian. I am really glad that he has come out as a Liberal, and I'm grateful for any support he can offer our party, our government, and our country.
So have you spoken with him
I speak with Mark often.
about that?
I speak with him often. He's actually my son's godfather.
And my follow-up? There have
I
been
thought
multiple...
that was a follow-up, but go
I was
ahead.
just getting clarity. There have been multiple reports that the Prime Minister's office is questioning your abilities as Finance Minister. Has Mr. Trudeau raised concerns about your performance with you, and perhaps you can expand?
You know, the Prime Minister's views are really something you should ask the Prime Minister about. But I am really happy to speak for myself and offer my perspective. And my perspective is that Canada is the best country in the world, and Canadians are amazing. And it is a huge privilege for me to serve Canada and Canadians as your Finance Minister and as your Deputy Prime Minister.
Next question.
Hi there, Mark Rendell with the Globe and Mail. Thanks for taking the question. So following up on the last line of questions, you were with the Prime Minister at events over the weekend. Did you receive assurances from him that you will be staying on as Finance Minister?
Again, the Prime Minister is a very eloquent man and leader, and it's for the Prime Minister to speak for himself. It is true that I had a long conversation with the Prime Minister on Friday. I spent a lot of Saturday with him in Mississauga and Brampton, and I was in Ottawa yesterday at a meeting with him. And I will offer my own perspective. So as I said a minute ago, it really, Canada is so amazing. And I know that Canada and Canadians, we face some big challenges, and we have some amazing opportunities. And I just consider it a real privilege every day to do my best to serve Canada and Canadians, to work on projects like this one.
So was that a yes or no as to whether you had received assurances that you will be continuing as Finance Minister?
Again, the Prime Minister is a very eloquent guy, and he is really capable of speaking for himself. I can speak for myself too, though. So let me just add, to serve as minister in a cabinet, you do need the support and confidence of the Prime Minister. That is especially true for the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister. Today is a nice day to be Finance Minister because I'm saying yes to an amazing project. But if you're Finance Minister, as my colleagues here know all too well, you have to say no a lot of the time too. That's how we keep our AAA credit rating.
And do you...
And hang on, let me just finish my answer. And so in order to do my job effectively, in order to serve the amazing people who are here today and the people across the country, I do have to feel that I have that confidence. And so what I will say to everyone here, speaking for myself, is I do have the confidence that I need to do my job effectively.
Next question, please.
Question for the Deputy Prime Minister, Adrian Gobriel, CTV National News. Minister Freeland, we've been trying to reach out to you for some time to speak with you about an investigation that we're working on. It looks into money service businesses, Canadian-based MSBs that run trading and currency exchange apps and services. Some of these MSBs are being run by international criminals who are registering their businesses here in Canada, registering with FinTrack, and using shared office spaces as their address. They're using Canada to legitimize their Ponzi schemes. One business, actually multiple businesses, have set up their office address right here in Markham, Ontario. They're marketed their trading app to investors in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, and then allegedly vanished with upwards of $1 billion. Critics say that so far the measures taken by the Department of Finance have done little to crack down on MSBs. How do you believe these criminal MSB corporations who are stealing hundreds of millions of dollars reflect on our country?
So thank you for the question. And what you report and allege in your question is very, very serious. I take money laundering in Canada extremely seriously. And in fact, our government and I as finance minister have introduced tougher anti-money laundering legislation than any government in Canadian history, including further empowering FinTrack. But I think your question is an important one. I think we do have more work to do here in Canada, both in terms of ensuring that we have the tools we need to crack down on fraud and money laundering, and also that law enforcement agencies across the country are doing their job.
And just to follow up to a question from my colleagues and one for my colleagues in Ottawa, it's got to be difficult to have your future as finance minister subject to questions and public scrutiny out in the open. What is that like for you?
Oh, you know, I spend very little time feeling sorry for myself. I am Canada's Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister. I grew up on a farm. I know that there are millions and millions and millions of Canadians who work much harder than any of the dignitaries standing behind this podium, and who do it for less money and less acclaim. Those are the Canadians I think about every single day, and I am really just focused on serving those Canadians to the best of my ability.
Next question.
Hi, Lisa Robertson from TVO with the agenda, Steve Paikin. We are in a position right now where we're continuing to expand on oil and gas. And I'm wondering why we spend all of this wonderful energy to build initiatives like this, and we continue to expand when we probably know that we have enough fossil fuels to get us through the transition. Why are we not putting our energy towards more initiatives like this?
Well, let me say this. I think Canadians can and should be extremely proud of the work that we are doing as a country to reduce our emissions. And that work, it truly is a team effort. I mean, what we're seeing today is such a beautiful example of it, right? Like, you could not get more local and more grassroots than Markham District Energy, people who love this community, who live in this community, who, as we heard from our American neighbor, have been planting seeds for this work for 25 years and just keep going. And it is like such a privilege for me that our government is able to put some tools in place to support them in that work. And we are here in Markham, we're seeing one great example. But there are projects like this going on across the country. Canadians are smart, they are innovative, they are working really, really hard on climate action and to bring our emissions down. That is the story across Canada. That is something I am really excited that our government is a part of.
Okay. Our next question is, the opposition has made one of its top talking points Axe the Tax, aimed at stopping your government's key green initiative, the carbon tax. Would supporting more projects such as this be a better, less polarizing way to get Canada on a greener path?
Thank you for the question. And our answer is we need to do both. The price on pollution actually puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Ontario families. It is revenue neutral. At the same time, I absolutely agree. Our government needs to be energetically supporting projects like this one here at Markham District Energy that are bringing our emissions down. And again, Canadians should be proud of the fact that Canada today has one of the most ambitious national set of tools to support efforts to bring emissions down, probably one of the most ambitious in the world, maybe the most ambitious in the world. And let me just enumerate them, okay? We have the Canada Growth Fund. That is capitalized at $15 billion. It supported the work here. We only set it up last spring, in the spring of 2023. It is up and running and has invested $2 billion. And the Canada Growth Fund knows that if they finish investing their $15 billion and they have more great projects, they will get more support from the federal government, because that is money that comes back to the government. So we have the Canada Growth Fund. We have the Canada Infrastructure Bank, another federal institution that our government put in place to support projects precisely like this one that decarbonize our economy and our communities. And then we have our $93 billion suite of projects, including, and you know, the sort of the spearhead tools to decarbonize are the investment tax credits. Last month was a very big month for Canada because those tax credits were passed into law. And we are seeing them drive major investments into Canada, major decarbonization, like the investment in Dow, like the Honda investment, like the Strathcona CCUS investment. And I just heard from Bruce, he's interested in understanding whether Markham District Energy qualifies for the investment tax credits, and we're happy to talk to you guys about that too.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes today's press conference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Excellent job.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.